2031 of No BS Job Search Advice Radio. I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to today's show. I got another week before I take a little time off until the first Monday in January. Man, I can use a little bit of a break. And today's show is one about getting more responses to your resume. Because if you're not going to follow my advice about not applying for jobs, if you're going to keep submitting your resume to the black hole or posting it on job boards, you got to at least get some advice about how to get more responses. And that's what today's show is all about. Hope you find this helpful and give it a great review wherever you listen to the show. And now let's just get going. Have you been struggling on your interviews? Are you not getting the results that you want? My course, my book, my Kindle book, The Ultimate Job Interview Framework, will help you dramatically improve your performance. Now, if you'd like the course, it's a video course that I offer through Udemy. You can order it at thebiggamehunter.us or as a paperback or Kindle book on Amazon. What the course will teach you is really very simple. The best question to ask on an interview and when to ask it. How to answer the question, tell me about yourself, far better than anyone else would ever answer it. In addition, you'll be able to tell stories that connect the dots with the interviewer about how your background fits the role and be able to ask questions that are going to allow you not to step into the minefield that you've been in too many times before in your job search and in your career. So again, it's called the Ultimate Job Interview Framework. It's available on Udemy. That's udemy.com. Or you could go to my course directly at thebiggamehunter.us/interviews. Again, available inexpensively as a course or as a paperback or Kindle book on Amazon. Now let's get back to the show. Let's talk about how to get more responses to your resume. Now, it's not just as simple as flipping resumes like burgers at a fast food restaurant over the transom of some organization. There's actually a pretty simple strategy to it, and it does involve a couple of different components. So the first one is dealing with the generic resume that you might place on a job board, looking for responses from recruiters or third-party recruiters or corporations to the resume. Now, here, you don't know what the job is that they're looking for. So understand they're looking at keywords. They're searching via keywords, and your resume needs to be keyword laden in order to get responses. It also has to be near the top when they do their search, because if you let your resume sink more than 3 screens down, more likely 2 screens down, they're never going to see it. Being practical, when you think about what you do on the web, when you do a search, how many screens down do you really go looking for product? You're not on screen 10. You're on screen 1 or 2. Then you get distracted to something else, and you never see anything beyond that. So your resume has to be the same. So one of the easiest ways to get your resume onto page 1 or page 2 for your search term is to add a period a few lines down on the day that you refresh it. Let me just explain more clearly. In order to get fresh results, search engines, job boards, I should say, are like search engines. And newer, fresher content is at the top. Older content goes to the bottom. So you trick the search engine for the job board by adding a period a few lines down, let's say the day that you refresh. And then a few days later when you refresh it again, you delete that period. To the job board, that's a change to your resume, and it moves it to a high position. And that's really where you want to be consistently, is you want to be on page 1 or page 2 of search terms. By that I mean, in terms of search terms, you want to have lots of keywords in your resume. You ideally want to have them positioned relatively high in the resume, because some of the search engines have tools that weighed out, kind of like Google does, the probability of fit. And one of the factors that they use is how high in the resume the keyword is. So recognizing that keywords are highly placed early in the search result. So that's for the generic one that you might put on a job board. For if you're submitting a resume to an applicant tracking system, and I'm not a big fan of that, I'll deal with that in another video, but assuming that you want to do that, the simplest thing I'm going to tell you to do is, again, keyword rich, but targeted toward the specific job that you're responding to. They don't care that you may have done 37 other things beyond the one that they care about. So they need to see things in your resume that demonstrate the fit, and you need to make it obvious to them. So, targeted resumes submitted against specific jobs. Pretend a 6-year-old is reading the resume. Would your resume show a 6-year-old how you fit the job? If they have to make the 6-year-old stretch, the likelihood is you'll never get an invitation. Why do I talk about it being a 6-year-old? Recruiters are busy folks. They're not just simply recruiting for one job. They're interviewing people all day. They're talking to people like me. They're talking to hiring managers. They're doing phone interviews. It's a lot of goes into their job. So they may look at a resume for 15, 20 seconds, 30 tops, making a decision. So you don't want to make it hard on them, because the reality is if they have doubts, they hesitate. They go to another resume. If they hesitate, the likelihood is they're not going to come back to yours and give you another interview. They're certainly not going to call you and say, what about this? What about that? Why? Because the next resume is probably going to have it. So make the fit obvious to them. Pretend, again, like you're dealing with a 6-year-old. A 6-year-old with ADHD who's finding it very difficult to pay attention just because they have so much else to do. So those are the two simplest strategies I can suggest to you for getting more responses to your resume.
So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, here are a few more ways to get information and advice from me. First of all, visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. Go to the blog. There's a lot there to help you. In addition, if you need interview advice, I've created a course called the Ultimate Job Interview Framework, available as a video on udemy.com. That's udemy.com, or available as a paperback or for Kindle on Amazon, and will help you stand out in a great way on your interviews. Also, if you're interested in my coaching you, there's a button on the site that says schedule. Schedule time for a free discovery call or schedule yourself in for coaching. I will love to help you. I'm able to help with regard to interview preparation, leadership coaching, salary negotiation advice, making a good decision between different offers, anything related to improving yourself in the workplace. If you have questions for me, you can schedule 15 minutes with me at thebiggamehunter.us/live, or an even less expensive way is at thebiggamehunter.us/video answers, where you can leave a message for me and I'll respond with a 3 to 5 minute video. Please financially support the podcast by clicking the button below and pledging whatever you'd like. I really appreciate it. Finally, watch me on TV. Download the Job Search TV app for fireTV, Fire Stick, or Roku, or BingeNetworks.tv for Apple TV and 90-plus smart TV platforms. I'll be back tomorrow with more. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Be great!